After we explain the test process, now we will talk about the test levels. The levels of testing are groups of test activities that are organized and managed together. Each test level is an instance of the test process. We talked about these levels inside the V model, but now we will talk about them in more details. So we have four major test levels. The first is unit or component testing. This level tests anything that is separately testable. Okay, the modules of code, the classes of code, and so on. Then we integrate those modules of code together. So this is integration testing. Then we have a full system, which we perform system testing on it. After performing system testing and finding defects, we begin the last level of testing, which is acceptance testing. So like we said, component testing, which is also known as unit or module testing, focuses on components that are separately testable. Most of the times, the person who is responsible for this level is the developer. So once the developer develops a piece of code, he begins writing tests for this piece of code, and there are testing techniques, of course, for this level of testing. The second level is integration testing. Integration testing focuses on interactions between components or systems, and we have two types of integration testing: component integration testing and system integration testing. Component integration testing focuses on the integration between components. This level is also performed by the developer. So after the developer finishes running tests on each unit or module alone, he begins to test them together. He tests the integration between them. But system integration testing means that we have a big project, a large project, okay? And this project consists of many systems. We have, for example, a web service, we have a back end, we have a database, and we have a front end. Each one of them is considered as a system. System testing is done by the tester. So the integration of these systems together is called system integration testing. The person who performs system integration testing is the tester. So like we said, component integration testing is often the responsibility of developers. System integration testing is generally the responsibility of testers. Then we have system testing. System testing tries to test the system as a whole. This is the most important test level for testers. So 90% of the testing for the software tester is performed inside system testing, not unit, integration, or acceptance testing. A very important thing in system testing is that we try to make the test environment correspond to the final target or production environment. So try to test your application on a similar environment to the real environment. If the users will use the software using Android 7, try to test it on Android 7. If they will use it on Wi-Fi, try to test it on Wi-Fi, and so on. If they will use it on 7-inch screens, try to test it on 7-inch screens. The last level is acceptance testing. Acceptance testing is similar to system testing, but the difference between them is that in system testing, we try to find as many defects as possible, and it is the responsibility of the tester. On the other hand, acceptance testing tries to make sure that the software performs correctly. So, finding defects is not the major goal of acceptance testing, and most of the times it is done by the users or the stakeholders. That's why we have a type of acceptance testing which is called alpha testing and beta testing. Alpha testing means that we bring customers to the company and make them test in our premises. Beta testing means that we make the customers test our application on their site at their homes. That's why you find some beta versions of antiviruses or from Windows or Office. This means that this version is still under test. We give it to the customers so that they make use of it and give us bugs if they find it. In the next section, we will talk about the most major types of software testing.